My name is Andrew Stiles, and I live here in Calgary, Alberta. I am addicted to recreational dumpster diving. Every time I see a dumpster, I gotta know what's in it. I stop, I look inside. Something I've been doing ever since I was a kid. Started when I was 6 years old. Dad took me around to big dumpsters where there was a low-income housing project, and pop cans, beer bottles, anything of value. By the time I was in grade 6, collecting just 2-cent pop cans, I had made myself $1,500. And that was an important lesson on how to earn money and to keep it. My dad says, Andrew, if you want to go far in life, invest it. So we invested it in 30-year compounding interest savings bonds, which later on in life built this home that I'm now living in. Pop cans is what I did most of my childhood, either in the ditch, in the dumpsters, wherever I could find them. But I remember being in the oil patch, and the first time I got laid off in the downturn in the early 90s, I started looking and see what's behind the food store dumpsters. And I found one day, just before Christmas, 5 unopened boxes of bananas, never even touched. And it made me think, holy cow, there's a lot of food out there. So that's when I got into food dumpster diving. And if you know when and where, you can eat pretty well in this town. And the other thing I've been finding lots of is metal and plywood. Construction dumpsters, especially the reno dumpsters, are full of this stuff. It, of course, takes a little bit more intelligence to figure out how to turn that stuff into something usable. So the birdhouses I've been doing with the plywood, the firewood, what goes in here to heat my home, and the metals, what I take to the Calgary metal recycler. You can get 50 cents a pound for aluminum, $3 a pound for copper, $1 a pound for copper wire, steel, everything else, all worth a little bit. So what I do every week is I drop off my wife at her good paying job downtown, and then on my way back home, I kind of like take a creative route through the neighborhoods, seeing what's being renoed, seeing what's happening behind the food store, etc., etc. Before you know it, I got a whole bunch of stuff to sort through. And as you may guess, it's not something I totally live off of. I do it more, like I said, it's a recreational addiction. I do it for the fun of it, because it's always interesting to see what's getting thrown out. And every once in a while you find stuff that's really quite surprising. So the other day I found myself a beautiful, brand new pot that you'd put like a turkey in for Christmas. It's like, awesome, I'll use that. Also found that dining room table over there that I now have in my house. It's just sitting out in the alleyway. And of course, in Calgary, where there's alleys, there's a beautiful culture of just throw it out there in the back alley and someone will find it. And sure enough, even in my neighborhood of Bowness, it's not the ritziest neighborhood, I put stuff out in the alley, and I have at least 4 separate alley cruisers that are going up and down the alley, some of them on a daily basis, looking for what interesting things that I'm leaving out there for them. And of course, I leave all my pop cans and out there, refundables out there, just to kind of boost their ego. But every once in a while, you have some interesting stuff out there, some food, some clothes, and then they leave me stuff. They know that Andrew, he'll find a home for this stuff. So some of the non-conforming things, I squirrel it away, give it to the United Church garage sale. And so the goal at the end of the day for me is to keep things out of the landfill. It is a sin to discard stuff that could have another use, especially if it's easily recyclable, like metal or wood. And there's a bigger picture. There's a story of 3 dumpster divers back in the 1980s that this beautiful woman captured in Calgary, a story of the people that were living on the margins and that were doing dumpster diving because they had to. And they found everything that they needed, food and clothing, etc., etc. And this movie did a really good job of just portraying how these people really were beat up in life and they were discarded by most of society, by their families. And this woman went out of her way to give these people dignity, give them sense of self-worth. And so that's what I'm always really looking for, is how to help people out. It's not just about stuff and the planet. That's important to care for the world, but really when you care for people, that's what I'm always looking for.